Have you ever wondered how crime originated in America? Let's take a step back in time to the early days of this great nation, a period steeped in struggle, survival, and rebellion. The colonial period, a time when America was but a cluster of colonies under British rule, is where our journey begins. It was a time when the line between survival and crime often blurred. Laws were stringent, punishments severe, and the spirit of rebellion was aflame. It wasn't uncommon for the colonists to commit crimes as an act of defiance against the colonial powers. Infamous among these acts of defiance were the Salem witch trials. A grim chapter in American history, these trials were less about crime and more about paranoia, fear, and the thirst for power. Accusations of witchcraft flew left and right, resulting in the execution of 20 innocent souls. The trials were a stark reminder of how fear can lead to the most heinous of crimes. Then, there were the pirates. Yes, piracy was a serious problem during the colonial period, particularly in the late 17th and early 18th centuries. Pirates, or privateers as they were often called, were sanctioned by their governments to raid and loot enemy ships. But many crossed the line into outright piracy, terrorizing the seas and committing numerous crimes in the process. This was the dawn of crime in America, a time when survival, rebellion, and defiance against oppressive powers often led to acts that were deemed criminal. It was a tumultuous period, a time of change and uncertainty, and it set the stage for the complex and evolving landscape of crime that would follow. Thus began the saga of crime in America, deeply entwined with the nation's own turbulent beginnings. As America entered the 19th century, the nature of crime began to change. The dawn of the 19th century in America was marked by significant societal shifts. The Industrial Revolution roared to life, transforming the landscape and altering the dynamics of crime. As cities burgeoned and populations swelled, new opportunities for illicit activities emerged. One of the notable phenomena of this era was the rise of organized crime. As factories sprouted up across the landscape, so did the criminal underworld. Gangs began to form, capitalizing on the chaos and disorder of rapidly growing cities. They infiltrated labor unions, ran illegal gambling rings, and engaged in theft and extortion on an unprecedented scale. Simultaneously, the westward expansion was carving out a new frontier, one ripe for a unique brand of lawlessness. In the vast, often unregulated expanses of the West, crimes like bank robbery and cattle rustling became prevalent. These were crimes born out of opportunity and necessity, committed by individuals seeking to profit from the vast, often unprotected wealth of these newly settled areas. And then there were the outlaws, the notorious figures who loomed large in the public imagination. Men like Jesse James and Billy the Kid became the stuff of legend, their exploits blurring the line between fact and fiction. Jesse James, the quintessential outlaw, was known for his daring bank and train robberies. On the other hand, Billy the Kid, a symbol of the lawless frontier, was a notorious cattle rustler and gunfighter. Their stories, often romanticized, captured the spirit of an era where the rule of law was still finding its footing. But it's important to note that this era was not just about crime. It was also a time of innovation and progress, a time when America was finding its identity and laying the foundation for the modern nation we know today. The lawless frontier and growing cities of the 19th century provided a fertile ground for the spread of crime. Yet they also paved the way for the development of law enforcement institutions that continue to evolve in response to crime. The 20th century saw the rise of a new kind of crime, organized crime. As America entered the era of prohibition in the 1920s, a power vacuum was created. Alcohol, a commodity once legal and in high demand, was suddenly outlawed. This vacuum was swiftly filled by shrewd and ruthless criminals, the most notorious of which was the Mafia. Originating from Italy, the Mafia, also known as La Cosa Nostra, found new life in the United States. Their operations expanded from petty crime and protection rackets to include bootlegging, the illegal production and sale of alcohol. The Mafia wasn't alone, though. Other organized crime groups, such as the Chicago Outfit and the Irish Mob, also flourished during this era. These groups were more than just gangs. They were complex organizations, operating with a level of sophistication and ruthlessness that had never been seen before. They controlled politicians, manipulated markets, and instilled fear in the hearts of the public. They were untouchable, or so it seemed. Their reign of terror did not go unnoticed. The brazen violence and corruption associated with these groups led to a societal outcry for justice. This outcry led to the creation of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI. The Bureau's primary mission? Fight organized crime. Among the infamous figures of this era, Al Capone stands out. His name is synonymous with the Roaring Twenties, a time when gangsters ruled the streets of Chicago and other major cities. Capone was a mastermind of organized crime, running a multi-million-dollar empire of illegal activities. But the 20th century wasn't just about the rise of organized crime, it was also about its downfall. The relentless pursuit of justice by the FBI resulted in the arrest and conviction of many high-profile gangsters, including Capone. Organized crime has left an indelible mark on America's history, shaping its laws and its culture. It's a dark chapter, filled with tales of greed, power, and violence, but it's also a testament to the resilience of the American spirit and the unyielding pursuit of justice. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, crime has taken on new forms. The landscape of crime has dramatically evolved, with drug-related offenses and white-collar crime becoming more prevalent. The rise of drug-related crime has been a defining characteristic of this era. As the illicit drug trade flourished, so did associated criminal activities. The government's response was the War on Drugs, an initiative launched in the 70s with the aim of reducing the illegal drug trade. This campaign led to an exponential increase in incarceration rates for nonviolent drug offenders, sparking debates about its effectiveness and impact on communities. While the war on drugs raged on the streets, another form of crime was gaining traction in the boardrooms. White-collar crime, characterized by deceit, concealment, or violation of trust, became increasingly common. One of the most notorious cases was the Enron scandal, where top executives were convicted for a wide-ranging scheme to defraud investors. The fallout was massive, leading to stricter regulations to prevent such fraud in the future. At the same time, the digital revolution paved the way for a new breed of criminals. Cybercrime, a term virtually unknown in the previous century, has now become a significant concern worldwide. The Silk Road dark web marketplace is a prime example. This online black market became a hub for selling illegal drugs and other illicit goods, operating under the cloak of the dark web until its eventual shutdown by the FBI. This case underscored the complexities of policing in the digital age, where criminals can exploit technology to commit traditional crimes in innovative ways. The evolution of crime in the late 20th and early 21st centuries highlights the shifting nature of criminal activity. As society changes, so do the methods and means of those who operate outside the law. From cybercrime to drug trafficking, modern crime continues to evolve, challenging law enforcement at every turn. The history of crime in America is a mirror of its society, reflecting its struggles and changes. From the humble beginnings in the colonial era, where theft and burglary were the principal crimes, to the tumultuous 19th century, marked by a surge in violent acts as the nation grappled with the Civil War and the Wild West era. It's important to remember that these crimes were not just isolated incidents, but a reflection of the societal upheaval and dramatic changes during those times. Next, we observe the rise of organized crime in the 20th century. As America entered a new age of industrialization and urbanization, so too did crime evolve, with the establishment of powerful criminal syndicates. These groups not only challenged the law, but also threatened the very fabric of society with their influence and corruption. The modern era, marked by the war on drugs, has seen a shift in the nature of crime once again. The battle against drug trafficking and related crimes has become a defining struggle of our times, while cybercrime, a product of our digital age, is an emerging threat we continue to grapple with. Throughout these periods, crime has not only shaped our laws and law enforcement, but has also left an indelible mark on American society and culture. From the romanticized outlaws of the Wild West to the notorious gangsters of the Prohibition era, these figures have become part of America's collective consciousness. As we reflect on this journey, it's clear that crime is not just a series of unfortunate events, but a complex interplay of societal factors. It is an ever-evolving phenomenon, a stark reminder of the challenges we face, but also a testament to our ability to adapt and overcome. As we continue to grapple with crime in the 21st century, we must remember that it is not just a challenge, but also an opportunity for growth and change. And looking ahead, we can't help but wonder how crime will continue to shape our society in the 21st century and beyond. The digital age has opened up new avenues for criminal activity, with cybercrime becoming an increasingly prevalent and complex issue. From identity theft to cyberterrorism, these digital crimes pose significant challenges to our security and privacy. At the same time, traditional forms of crime such as drug trafficking and organized crime continue to persist and evolve. Moreover, societal changes such as increasing wealth inequality and the ongoing struggle for social justice could also influence the nature of crime in the future. Will we see a rise in white-collar crime as wealth concentrates in fewer hands? Will social unrest lead to an increase in violent crime? These are questions that we, as a society, need to consider as we navigate the complexities of the 21st century. While crime will undoubtedly continue to be a challenge, it also presents an opportunity for us to come together as a society and work towards creating safer, more equitable communities. In the end, the story of crime in America is not just a tale of villains and victims, but a reflection of our collective journey as a society. It's a journey that we are all a part of, and one that we can shape through our actions and choices. As we continue to explore this topic in future videos, we invite you to join us in this journey, to learn from our past, understand our present, and work towards a better future. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Criminal Odyssey content.